Just trying to get the perfect view here. If anything, I could probably zoom out a little bit. We don't need to see everything. We just need to get the right space. Okay, we're gonna start defrosting food here in a minute. You can see one of them. I'm gonna try and point to him. He's right here. I say he. I call them both he. They're both named Pierre. They got a little bit of an upgrade today. There's a new heater over there, which you can't see. Sponge filter over here, which I'm giving a whack. I thought I got 5 plants. Oh yeah, I guess maybe this is 2. This is 1, and then hornwort or hogwort hurt something gimmick. Java fern, and I forget what this one was. If you know, let me know. And then prayer plant, there's a Thai constellation pothos in there, and then just your bulk standard pothos up there. There's the heater that I was talking about. What's funny is I put this dumb rock in here that you see right in the center of the screen, and I've got my phone in like a holster thing, so there's like a bit of plastic basically blocking the center of my screen, so I keep seeing that and thinking it's a lungfish head, which it really doesn't look that much different than this guy right there. If you can't see what you're looking at properly. But yeah, I'm gonna start defrosting some tilapia here in just a second. I'm just overly obsessing about the camera angle here. I'm sure that you don't really care. Okay, give me just a second. Enjoy a cup of coffee, and we're gonna feed some lungfish, I hope. I haven't fed, normally I would have fed them a couple of hours ago. I noticed that they've been pacing a little bit, so yeah, so obviously I think that they're pretty hungry. And there's one right there. There we go. See him? Yeah, so I think that they know that something's up. I actually almost didn't feed them yesterday, so they would be super hungry tonight, but I'm not going to do that to them. I want them to grow. Okay. Yeah, so this is pretty simple. Frozen tilapia bits, chopped up. Yeah, I just take a couple, 2, 3 pieces out, defrost them under cold water, and yeah, and then mush them up a little bit to make it easier for them to eat. Okay, and that takes just a minute to defrost. Yeah, so uh, I've had them both here for a week now, actually. Um, and I was talking with someone today, internet friend, um, about keeping lungfish. And, you know, I have to say, it's been quite rewarding. Um, I've really enjoyed them. They're very different, extremely different. Like whether you're into fish or whether you're into reptiles, they're still very different from either one. Um, yeah, they've just been incredibly interesting. I've been enjoying just kind of getting to know how they think and how they work, and in some ways how they don't work. uh, yeah, they're just overall very interesting animals to keep. And I'm actually now on the waiting list to get a Australian lungfish, which I don't know, maybe in the fall or something like that, I'll be able to get one of those, and it'd be great. Is it raining out? Is that what that noise is? Yes, it is raining. So I'm gonna have to close this window in a minute. You know what? It's raining just enough where I might close my window. I gotta move some stuff around. There we go. No big deal. Okay, let's check this fish. Yeah, that'll work. So I wonder. Nah, you'll be able to see this just fine. And I see an arm over here. But here we go. He's gonna come out here in just a second. Oh, he's actually got a piece of food in his mouth right now. It would be nice if the other one came out. The other one tends to eat, I think a little bit later in the evening it kind of waits for the other one to have gotten its full, or its fill rather. Whoop. Did you see that? He came out up here. If you're rewatching it, rewind a second and watch this cave. He just came out and took a big gulp of air. There he goes. Bloop. Really finding these guys oddly rewarding captives. If I may tell you a story, many moons ago, I still have some extra food defrosted, so I can give these guys more if need be. But many moons ago, I kept a pair of cotton-eared marmosets. They were a pair, boy and a girl. That's what I mean by pair, not just two. The male was named Detective James McNulty, and the female was named Pizza. If you've watched The Wire, you know who James McNulty is. If you've ever had pizza, you know it's awesome. So, actually, if you go back through my old videos, there are definitely videos of the marmosets, but I'm digressing now. When I got the marmosets, I brought them, I say home, but they lived in my shop. They had a 12-foot long, 7-foot wide, and about 7-foot tall enclosure, decked out with branches, all sorts of stuff for them to do. If you know anything about primates, they prefer a wide diet. So I fed them all sorts of stuff, and if you've ever kept primates, you know that you kind of you'll spoil them whether you like it or not. Here you go, big breath over here. Very cool. Anyway, so I had the marmosets for a week or so, and I noticed that every time the male would eat, he would throw up. And primates do that. Primates of all species will do that. Like, they'll eat very quick, get a little nauseous. Sometimes they'll throw it up into their hand, and then they'll go back and eat it. It's kind of like a normal thing. if you're a primate or if you're from New Jersey. And it started stressing me out a little bit because it looked like he was like losing weight, and I noticed that some of the hair in his tail was a little patchy. See, these guys make a great cleanup crew. um, so there was a local vet who I actually saw on a TV show not that long ago. Um, his name was Clive. I'm forgetting his surname now, but he was a South African guy, lives in England, and his wife was a primate expert at a local zoo. So I figured, hey, these are going to be the geezers that are going to know. With cotton-eared marmosets and all marmosets, a huge part of their diet is grapes. They absolutely love grapes, but grapes are very acidic. The vet figured out that potentially the stress from moving, may have given my male marmoset an ulcer. So whenever he ate grapes, he would get a sore stomach and he would end up throwing up. And it's difficult to remove them from their diet altogether because in the wild they eat a lot of grapes, and in captivity they eat a lot of grapes. And you don't want to deprive the female, so it's tough to like only feed one of them. Long story short is I had to give him Zantac, basically. See him on the left hand side? Blah, 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 blah. Lungfish stream. I had to give him Zantac, which is difficult to give to a marmoset. It comes in liquid form, not like the pills that humans take. Although I imagine we could probably take this liquid form if the dosage were large enough. Anywho, so the easiest way to do it in the beginning, you draw up the dosage in a little syringe and you can inject it into a wax worm, which I did a bunch of. The best thing that they always took was marshmallows. If you injected it into a marshmallow, they're taking it and they're eating it every single time. Sometimes with the bugs, see, look right down on the front here. He might be about to take that piece of fish. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So basically you had to almost figure out how to outsmart these things to give them the drugs. If you give them to them in bugs, sometimes they would eat them, but sometimes they would take a bite and then just throw it. You think, right, that wasn't a cheap injection I put into that, and blah, blah, blah. You need to get it anyway. So it causes a lot of stress. In the end, marshmallows will always work. If you have dogs, if you have to give them pills, wrap it in cheese. It was in the Bible somewhere. And I think the moral of the story and where I was going with that whole roundabout thing was that I had to spend a lot of extra time tending to them, doing these finicky things. And I think that you become more appreciative when they do well, and perhaps more attached to them as well. I know this first lungfish I got, the smaller one, was not doing great for a while. He was in kind of a busy community tank and he never wanted to come out, and I wasn't sure that he ever ate anything. I moved him here into this easygoing, calm, peaceful thing. He's got to compete with another lungfish, but It was funny, someone suggested that perhaps the older lungfish would teach the smaller one lungfish stuff. And yeah, perhaps maybe that is what has happened. Um, but it was a little bit of um, a tough start, I think. Luckily, I will say that these guys are definitely very forgiving. They can also withstand some less than ideal water conditions because they breathe air. Well, provided that the ones that you have are breathing air, which the bigger one that I have, I say bigger, one is about, I don't know, 7 inches, the other one's maybe about 10. Um, where was I going with that? Oh, the smaller one just started taking its first breaths of air maybe yesterday or 2 days ago, something like that, which was actually quite exciting. So, let me see one on the left hand side here. About he's probably about to take a breath. I hope that this is even remotely entertaining. And it is amazing that those mollies go to that extent with the tilapia pieces. They love them. Also, love the sponge filter. I really love it a lot already. It's a good deal. Okay. So the smaller one is right here, like under this rock by the heater and kind of right behind the Java fern. I was able to see his, I'm going to call it a leg, although it's not really a leg. Rewarding. Although we were looking at gar today, like kind of maybe 4-inch gar. God, are they cool? I just don't want them to mess up the lungfish, or else I would totally have one living in here. There is a bristlenose plecostomus in here somewhere. He's a small guy, maybe 2 inches or so. Actually, I don't know if you could see it, but there's a lungfish leg right there. He's in there somewhere. Doing a good job. There's a bunch of crap on the bottom of the tub. I was actually going to siphon that out to make it look beautiful before I did this, but I figured I would feed first and then siphon it in the morning. So we'll see. And this plant is pretty interesting. It has a very weird texture. I've actually never kept it before. It's quite rough and spiky. So it's contained in a pot there. I need to get a good full spectrum light for these plants. The lungfish might hate it a little bit, but as long as I can dim it down, it should be cool. They just don't like really bright light. Neither do mogwai, coincidentally. I can turn this little other light up, but it doesn't really make a huge amount of difference. I don't think. This is 100%, and that's 60. Either way, you could see. I mean, unfortunately, you could see the reflection of the light, but I need a good actual aquarium light. Very nice. That's not what I want. Yeah. $26. That ain't bad. Yeah, no, that's just the bulb. I'm looking, another little tidbit of information I picked up over the years. Um, the National Zoo in Washington, D.C., they're kind of known for, well, a lot of things really, but uh, breeding critically endangered amphibians is one of them. And the National Zoo is absolutely huge. If you haven't been, you need to go. A lot of times it's free as well, which is even better. But I was looking, they have like a laboratory that you can peer inside of, which is basically their amphibian laboratory. I had a quick peek in. All I was curious about seeing in the moment was what type of lights they were using above their enclosures. Um, and they were using the Solar Max HE light, which apparently has fallen out of popularity somewhat, but I've had them before and I really liked them. If you go back, hell, 10 years now, and you look back at some of my older videos, um, there were videos where I was keeping Atelopus and also raising some Phyllobates terribilis. Those enclosures had Solar Max HE lights over them, and I absolutely loved them. My plants did amazing, sometimes a little too amazing. Um, really good lights, and it looks like they're actually pretty cheap now because maybe nobody likes them anymore. Kind of like me. That's why I'm so cheap. Uh. Is this what my Friday nights are going to be from now on, really? Probably. Would you guys watch this? Would anybody watch this? There's one person watching it. That's good. I appreciate you, whoever you are. Hopefully, it's the CEO of Amy's Frozen Meals or Nature's Bakery cereal bars, maybe Kershaw, Pocket Knives. Any one of you guys, not a sponsor, get on board. Suja, cold pressed juices, Pig and a Pug, bath stuff. Any one of you guys, holler at me. Manscaped, I'll do it. Lungfish, brought to you by Manscaped. If you want your lungfish to look smooth like this, get Manscaped. All right, no more promos. I should get a Solar Max HE. Yeah. Don't just tell me how many are available. Tell me how much they are. Give me your finest, cheapest, full spectrum aquarium light, my good sir. Sounds like it's stopped. Whoa. Cool. If you're gonna go diving with your lungfish, Rolex Submariner. Well, well, well. I'm actually going to leave you to it for just a second. I need to go actually cut some potatoes for my dinner. I will be right back, I promise. There he is, front and center. There he is. Eat that. Mm. haven't forgotten you. I'm just preparing uh, the main ingredients for my dinner. Gonna let a couple things marinate, letting my potatoes soak before I fry them, and then I will be back to bore you with my anecdotes. No, right. Alright, alright. Another day, another cardboard box. What do you think? Do we need more tilapia in there? Probably not just yet. Hell yeah. I appreciate you tuning in. I know that so my early followers would know me as a venomous snake guy. My newer ones would know me as kind of a crested gecko guy, or just a gecko in general guy. But would you guys be interested in Lungfish Fridays? Friday evenings, I just come back to the house from work and defrost some tilapia, hang out with the guys. What do you think? You're never too old for Ritz crackers, my man. I haven't seen them in a couple minutes. The lungfish, that is. I imagine that the smaller one is still right around here. And then the bigger one does spend most of his time underneath. Nah, I don't blame you. What do you think about sponge filters? Is that cool? I certainly see that it's working. It's got a ton of crap built up on it already. I'm also wondering if perhaps for the next time I do this, I just turn the filter off altogether so the water is nice and still. I think I will do that next time. And I'll definitely get rid of all this. It's mainly probably molly poop. Well, actually, I mean, it's fish poop. So it's either lungfish poop or molly poop. Guess it doesn't matter. Whoa, did you see that? Look at the cave. Whoa. Okay, bye. That's what I'm talking about. Um, I do quite like this plant. It's got a weird texture to it. Um, it seems like a good place for fish to raise their fry. And it was cheap. That's going to filter the water pretty well too. These other ones, not so much, but this stuff, I have a feeling once I get a full spectrum light over this, it's going to really do well. One of them is right there. And then the other is probably still in that cave. The mollies really to make short work of the tilapia. They steadily go after it. I will often take at least one of the pieces I throw in there. Like I'll really mash it between my fingers so it's quite soft, so it's easy for them to just pull it apart. And they will. I actually don't give them any supplemental food at all, the mollies, and they do quite well. I lost one. Oh, actually, I know there's definitely 6. I put in 12. 3 jumped out the first evening. One I watched be eaten by the smaller lungfish just the other day. Accidentally, more likely than not, but still it was pretty crazy to watch. And then, yeah, one of them I found dead, I think. So yeah, I don't know. There's probably 6 of them in there anyway. And the only reason that they're in there, actually, although they are, I bought them as feeder fish. I don't necessarily care if the lungfish eat them, but that's not why they're in there. I got them so that the lungfish would just be used to being around other fish. You know, it doesn't matter what type it was, so that's why I just got something cheap and cheerful. I got a dozen of them for $3, you know. There's also a plecostomus in there, but you would never know it. I've seen it once, last night or maybe the night before, I forget. Um, maybe 10 seconds I saw it. Um, one of these days it's gonna pop up on one of these live streams, I bet. But it's a male bristle nose. I know I've probably said it before, but he's pretty cool looking. He's got a bristly nose. I think about getting another one. You know, I could get a female to breed them, but I almost want to just get another male because they're crazy looking. And I can also get albino ones right now for really cheap. And I was actually thinking originally of getting albino ones. I don't. I don't remember the exact reason why I didn't get albino ones in the beginning, but either way I should, because it would be much easier to see it in here than the dark brown ones, obviously. Um, but I mean, maybe he's eating algae and stuff off the rocks, but look, look at all this poop. So I can siphon that out. That's not a problem, but I would love it if I didn't have to. If I just had a little guy that would just zip around here and just only eat that stuff. I don't know. I guess that's what this guy's for, right? To eat up all the fish poop. We'll see how well it works. I mean, it certainly seems like it's doing something, so that's good, right? Mmm. Just ate a whole small tube of these things just sitting here, flapping my gums. If you look on the back left corner, there's a lungfish eating a piece of tilapia. Um, they're amazing fish. I will say, um, I would definitely not describe them as adept hunters. Hunters, yes, um, but their necks are very wide. So you notice sometimes they have to do like kind of like a big roundabout thing in order to eat one piece of food. Like they'll swim right up to the piece of food and nudge it, and if it moves at all, they can't like turn their head to get it. So they've got to like either turn around or more often than not, they just go to hell with this and they go after another piece of food, which is just interesting. Maybe nobody cares about any of this stuff, but I don't know. You don't want to see the ledge. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get the perfect. There we go. whole lot of action right now. Get that out of the way. Lid. I gotta grab my lid. Been using it as a coaster. Ah. Oh no, that's not what I want. There. Really? That's fine. We can do that. This is about the time of night where I start cycling down their lights. So I normally keep it at 30%. That's the height of it, which is this. For the purpose of this video, I've had it at 60, just to make it easy to see. Um, I'm actually, as I'm streaming this, I've got it playing on the TV in the other room so I can have an idea of what the video looks like. And I'm actually curious to see what the different light powers actually look like on camera. Because if this is how 30% looks, like, this is not bad. You can see this pretty easy. So for comparison, this is 100. I'm only going to do this for a second just to see it. Go back to 30. Yeah, I mean 100's pretty bright. But 30, you could still see what's going on for sure. And the lungfish probably don't hate it at 30. They probably hate it at 100 though. Although it's funny, the larger one, the larger of the two lungfish, in the store was actually under quite bright lights. I was pretty surprised at how bright it was. And he was always active, always doing something, up to some hijinks. He was always swimming around. There was also less obstacles. I keep calling him he, so just bear with me. Lived with a group of peacock bass that were for sale. So obviously not a nervous feeder at all. Quite happy. Peacock bass, notorious kind of mental feeders, you know. God, there really is a lot of poop in there. I mean, I suppose that's what I have a sponge filter for, but I'm just looking at it now thinking, man, I wish I would have siphoned that out beforehand. Tumbleweeds of fecal matter. It's cool. It's literally going to take 2 seconds to clean that up. I use a piece of air hose as a very precise siphon vacuum thing. I filled up like a 1-gallon bucket. It took 40 minutes or something like that, doing it that way, which is actually quite nice. I was in absolutely no rush to do it, and I'd rather it go slow and steady, but it was very nice to be able to use like the precision end of the tubing. Tubing. So yeah, this is my little lungfish bayou. Hornwort? Is that what it is? Hold on. Yeah, hornwort. Okay. So there's a hogwarts thing. Hornworms are in my life, so this is... Oh, damn it. Hornwort. It's like my wife. She's got horns and she's covered in warts, so that should be easy to remember. Should be easy to remember. I got potatoes in the air fryer. I can smell them from here. Smells good. Actually, I wonder what a difference ring light actually looks. Actually, I assume that's probably going to be pretty significant. Probably. Yeah. It's cool. I appreciate you hanging out with me and my lungfish. I don't have much in my life, but I have lungfish. Lungfish. And I got a handful of mollies. That's what all the kids are talking about. They're going to the club and doing mollies. What they're doing is they're literally eating small feeder fish to get high. It's disgusting and terrible. Hornwort. See, now I remember. Hornwort. I didn't just look at my computer, although I do have it handy. Hell yeah. It's the cool thing about an air fryer. You just shake your food and boom. Before you know it, you're good. I've officially inquired about a South American lungfish. The store where I acquired mine, whoop, big breath, yeah. Uh, the store where I acquired mine said that they have had them before. It's been a little while, but they would take a look. Cause yeah, that'd be cool. Ooh, whoops. Sorry. Hornwort. And that's Java fern. I don't remember what this bloody thing is called. I assume that these plants are probably going to do pretty well once I put a full spectrum light above them. I imagine so. Oh yeah. What is that thing called? Uh, is that it? Hold on. That could be it. Hold on. I'm on the case. Okay. Hot on the trail. Hot on the trail of what type of plant that is. No, that can't be it. Could be. Oponagaton ula ulvaceous. Yeah, no, it can't be that. Oh, let's see. Common aquarium plants. It's gonna drive me crazy now. I'm trying to figure out what this is. If you know, holler at me. Wait, here we go. Wait. It looks a little bit like that. Oh, duh. So it's a sword plant. Okay, never mind. I'm an idiot. Of course it is. Okay. Okay. Not the end of the world. I would keep watching this little thing here. There's definitely one of them in there, and he probably will come out and breathe here pretty soon. You see that guy in the back corner there? air fry potato stream. Oh, that wasn't easy to see. But you know. Add a couple of extra pieces because there you go, bud. And then if there's any of this left in the morning, I'll siphon this out for sure. Maybe he'll go after them. He just took that huge piece. Sorry. He's in kind of a weird spot down at the bottom. almost starting to wonder if the lungfish don't like shrimp, specifically shrimp. Uh, yeah, I wonder if they don't like shrimp. Because some of the pieces they'll like swallow and then spit them back up. Um, and I know that they will eat the tilapia pieces. So I'm wondering if it's the, because there's noticeably some like stringy bits, you know, like the little, what is that, the spine, I guess, of the shrimp. It's like weird like that. Uh, so yeah, maybe they don't like shrimp specifically. So this is actually the one that's out here right now. This is the smaller of the lungfish. Um, you can tell because he's got more gills than the other one. And as I said much earlier in the stream, um, he tends to come out and eat once the other one has already kind of had his fill. It looks like he's swimming around with a piece in his mouth right now. Here you go. Yeah, he just ate the hell out of that. I definitely think that these guys are going to grow. Big time. Pierre 1 has definitely put on a bit of girth this week. Yeah, I think for a while there he wasn't really eating much, if anything. And I think that the tank that he was in was way too busy. There was too much stuff going on. Whoa. Alright, bud. Calm down. So yeah, now he looks significantly better. That's good. So they put on weight pretty quick, obviously. I think if you receive one, even if it's deathly thin, I think, you feed it every single day for a week, you'll be looking at a different fish there. So that's quite cool. But he's really wilding out. The rock is new. I just put it in there earlier. I think my thinking with that mainly was, since they're not quite good at turning quickly, at least if a piece of food was getting away from them, they could push it up against the rock. I don't know whether they actually would or not. I'm sure that they don't need my intervention, but actually I guess they do need my intervention, but you know what I mean. Don't get fresh. So, air fryer's beeping. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. I am going to get off of here in just a couple of minutes here. Oh, did you see that? Cool. As I was saying, I'm going to get off of here in just a couple of minutes. Um, my dinner is almost done. It's quite late here. And there is a new series on Netflix about the Nuremberg trials. And you know, the history nerd that I am, have been looking forward to it all day. I watched one episode of it last night because I was super tired. But I'm planning on maybe not deep diving tonight, but I'll probably get a couple episodes in at least. So yeah, I appreciate everybody who stopped to watch, stopped to hang out. Maybe I'll make this a regular thing. It's actually quite nice to just have my phone going, and I can come and talk periodically, sporadically, prepare my dinner. I can sit here with no shirt on and you wouldn't even know. Oh, is he about to come out again? Right there. Yep. And then vanishes. It's also good to know that they're not completely thrashing the plants just yet. That's good. They're weighted down pretty well, and then this hornwort is in its own thing, so they can get around it. There's like a, I don't know, 1-inch gap all around the whole thing, so they don't like smash into it constantly. Made a whole pour over thing of coffee when I got back to the house a little while ago. Still grinding through that. And I'm checking out this crazy plant shop. Don't get me started. 21 messages. I had to didn't respond. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry for existing. These are cool plants. I'm looking on buseplant.com, looking for some more aquatic plants. Nothing too crazy, probably. But I do want to get a nice light for the top of this, even though the lungfish are going to hate it to some extent. I'll just make sure that I utilize it for good and not evil. Yo, my dinner's got to be ready. Hold on. I do really appreciate you guys coming to watch. Uh, as I said, I'm going to try and make this a maybe a regular thing. Maybe every Friday night, same time, same place. I'll turn off the sponge filter to make the water still. And I think it probably won't take a whole lot of convincing, but I reckon I can get these guys to tongue feed. Um, I'd say, oop, here comes a little guy right now. Um, yeah, I reckon probably without a whole lot of convincing, I'll be able to definitely get the bigger one to tongue feed. Um, yeah, I just need to make sure that they're hungry enough. But I think I'll be able to make that happen. I'll need to go back and watch this video again, but I'm curious to see like how quickly after I throw food in does the bigger one come out. It's generally pretty quick, so I think it's only a matter of time before they just get used to feeding time. And then once feeding time becomes a thing, then it's tongue feeding time. You know what I'm saying? Not tongue feeding. I'm not going to feed them with my tongue. I'm going to use tongues to feed them. It'll be pretty cool. But I really do appreciate anybody watching this. I understand that there's probably cooler things to be doing on a Friday night. Don't get me wrong, that point is definitely not lost on me. But to me, there's not many cooler things. I have my moans and groans and grumbles and whatnot. Everyone does about their job. But I'm lucky enough to work with animals 60 hours a week almost. And then I come home. Well, I say home. I make it a point to say back to my house, not home. I don't look at this as this place where I'm at right now as home. But then I get to come back to these knuckleheads. They're just like one of those weird anomalies of the animal kingdom. Definitely, anomaly is a good word to describe them. And even though I've had the original Lungfish, I've had him for probably about a month in total, maybe a little bit more than a month actually. But for a huge chunk of that, I think I only saw him once. He spent all of his time hiding, and I only got to see him really because I lifted the hide off of him while he was minding his own business. And I know he probably hated that, but now he's much happier. Like, obviously much happier. Eating, swimming around, doing stuff. He comes out, before he never did that. So I'm also looking at it like about a week ago, I kind of started over with Lungfish in general. I got the second one, and I felt like I was basically starting over with the first one. But even a week on, substantial difference. So And now with the new sponge filter, the new heater, feel better. Couple plants, cool beans. I imagine that they're gonna thrash them, um, but I'll make plans for that when I have to. In the meantime, they're small enough where these can still serve a purpose. I just need to get a good light for over top. If you've got a suggestion, put it in the comments. If you know a good full spectrum aquarium light, has to be full spectrum because I want the plants to do well. And although to be fair, I know that you don't have to have full spectrum lights to grow plants. Um, I have a frog uh, back home where my actual home is, and he lives on a prayer plant. Actually, this plant right here is a cutting from that plant. So this made quite a long trip to come live with the lungfish. Uh, but I'm a sentimental guy, so it's quite nice to have a piece of. Uh, I can't believe I'm going to say this. So I have a Agalachnus lemur, which is a lemur leaf frog, critically endangered species, and I'm desperate to captive breed them. I just need more than the one that I have. That would be a good start. But his name is Ryan Philippi, uh, like the heartthrob actor from the early 2000s. Um, cool frog. You can actually sit there in the room with the lights out, and if you whistle at him, he'll start calling back at you. Very enjoyable to own. Anyway, very long story short to say that so the plant that this is a cutting from grew like you would not believe, grew like a prayer plant, I can actually say, because it went crazy. I've taken so many cuttings of these and given so many cuttings away. Um, but it grows under basically like one of those Exoterra hood things with they're just like the curly energy saving bulbs. And the plants grow. Not only do they grow, they thrive. Um, so yes, I know you don't need full spectrum lights, but I just want full spectrum lights, okay? What are you going to do about it? Actually, what you could do about it is if you have one that you particularly like to grow your aquarium plants with, you could recommend it down in the comments. That would be great. Or you'll meet this Bavarian fighting ring that I have. This is just as crazy as it looks. Uh, if you look up Rough Design Company on Instagram or just look them up on the internet, they are the ones that make these things. The first time I saw one, I knew I had to have it. Yeah, I know. But Lungfish stream. Again, if you're just tuning in and tuning in kind of late, I am aware that there are tumbleweeds of fish feces in here. Um, just added the sponge filter and it's definitely doing its job. I was going to siphon this out, but I told myself, no, just do the stream, feed during, and then uh, siphon it out in the morning. So I've been on this stream now for almost 2 hours, and I've been staring at the tumbleweeds of feces. I mean, look at that crap over there. Maybe you can't see it too well, and that's kind of a good thing. But this, damn, that aquarium, the sponge filter is putting in a shift. I'm telling you what. So maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it is actually pulling all the crap that way, because there's like piles of it next to the sponge filter. So I assume that that's what we're doing there. I'm actually even debating almost going and getting the second one. Not the same variety, but the one with the bioactive material in it. Um, I'm thinking I probably should actually go get one of those, shouldn't I? I have a splitter for this air pump. Um, One of the things that put me off using a sponge filter originally was having to use an air pump. I didn't want to hear it. And I've got my fan going. Let me turn that on. It's really not that bad. Um, what I can do is I can put a splitter on the air pump and then have this sponge filter and then the other kind as well. Oh yeah, that's gross. Already. Okay, good. Well, that's what I got it for. Alright, I'm gonna cut the stream. I want to go eat my dinner. I really do. Alright. Let's get out of here. Say goodnight, Pierre's.